Welcome to the Chicago Golf Report podcast.
Talk a little bit about what makes 5-iron unique.
Yeah, I think we're just a little bit different than your normal simulator places. We're a little larger, largest in the cities. Our three main locations downtown the city, 10 to 12 simulators. So we're, triple the capacity of some of these places that are 3 to 4 places, simulators. We really try to do a little bit of both, that social aspect of thing, but really, which is a little different. We want to have that bar feel, that atmosphere, the fun vibes at night, kind of a place to go if you're just looking to have a good time. And then during the day, we're that serious golfer. We're that person that wants to train and practice and really use the technology there with Trackman to dial in on their game. So we have just so many options to work through, lessons and swing evaluations along with memberships. So we're just a larger venue, and it's more of a different atmosphere. It's not what you're expecting when you go to your country club or anything like that. You got a bar, we've got loud music, we've got just a friendly staff, right? That's some of the best things we have is they just want to build that community with you and be part of your daily life and routine in the golf world.
So the other thing that makes 5-iron unique is I think you mentioned you're a national company. How many locations do you have?
We have 23 internationally, or I'm sorry, nationally, and then we have 4 or 5 right now internationally, and a couple franchises. So we're just over 30 locations total, and still growing. So we're pretty excited with that.
And so talk a little bit about your background. So you have Chicago roots but now you deal in a much bigger environment.
I sure do. Grew up in Chicago, love the Chicagoland area, great community. The golf world here has been so great to us. So just being part of that is huge. Opened up this location, the first location in River North there in 2019. So it's been about 5 years. We just revamped it, but at this same point, it's such a great growing business, and I get to travel the country basically and see all these great locations and different communities that really care about one thing. It's that golf world.
And so what is your role then with the company? What do you currently do?
I am our operations manager. So I manage right now 8 locations throughout the country. I've got 3.5 in Chicago. And then we have, Atlanta, Indianapolis, Baltimore, DC. It was kind of my horseshoe region, as I call it. Just kind of as we grow and expand, we're primarily in the Northeast, and we're really trying to expand. And Atlanta is such a great venture for us because it's a little different than what we're used to in these cold weather climates, and being able to be in these huge buildings and where there's thousands of people living blocks away from you. So it's unique, and it's just a great experience.
So you mentioned 3.5 locations. What's the half location?
The half one is a partnership we do with the Metropolitan Club in the Sears Tower there, or the Willis Tower. I'm sorry, some of us older Chicagoans.
Hey, you're a true Chicagoan.
Yeah. So it's a partnership with the Willis, the Metropolitan Club in the Willis Tower there. So really not managed through us. It's more of our simulators, our brand, our vibe, and they kind of it's a great way for their members to be able to use that as a amenity there for them, basically. And then it's open to the public too, so it's a great way for people that haven't been able to see that and go see a different view of what it looks like to hit it. I think it's 73 floors up, so that's hitting the golf ball that high up is kind of cool, with some great views looking out to the United Center and that part of the city.
So you mentioned the membership. So you can go, if say the Chicagoans want to go play golf, they could go to 5-iron Golf, reserve a bay. They don't have to be a member, but you could also be a member. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah, we're open to the public, but we do sell a membership that gives you that practicability. We have some member benefit times from like Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 4 p.m. That gives you basically an hour and a half of hitting daily for free. And then we also have some other walking times that are available for you. So if it's a Saturday night, nothing's really going on, and you want to pop in, we can give you up to an hour free there if we're not as busy or not sold out at the moment. So just a way for you to be able to practice at different times of days. It's a great price point. It's $279 a month. It's monthly, so it's one of those things. If you're going to come practice 4 or 5 times a month, it's definitely worth the investment. And with the 3 big locations in Chicagoland, you can always find us somewhere.
So if you're a member for that $279 a month, is it at one location or could you go to all the Chicago locations?
You can go to all the Chicago locations, and if you're ever traveling, you can also utilize the membership benefits in our other cities. So it's a great way, especially if you're traveling in New York City for work, once a month, and you want to hit golf balls on your off day out there, or one of our other great cities. It's a great way to utilize that membership there.
That's a really important thing, I think, because that's such a reasonable price point. And for us in here in Chicagoland area in the Midwest, it's like a tale of two seasons, right? So we have golf season and then we have winter. They're almost about the same, right? It's like 6 months, which is the importance of these simulators. And that's why this kind of simulator industry is boomed, at least in the Chicagoland area. But like if you offer that, like I think there's more to it than that, though. So, like for a golfer, we want to keep our game going. You want to stay repetition, but the 5-iron atmosphere, it's upbeat, and like you said, it's a kind of a cool place to go hang out.
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit of both. It's tough. It's, especially if you're living downtown. Chicago's great because a lot of people do have cars and can get out to the suburbs. I mean, I think I say the joke all the time. I can hit a 9-iron from downtown or just outside and drive to 30 golf courses within 15 minutes, So you have that ability to play, but, we only do get those 6 months to hit golf balls. Diversity driving range is always packed. The other ones are, and you got to get out there to really practice. So this is a great way for you to come in and practice, not worry about the elements. I mean, hottest day in Chicago was yesterday, right? 52 years. So you don't have to go out there and worry about that. You come inside, practice on your game. And you have great technology too. All of our bays have Trackman. So you're utilizing that data, and that data right there is going to help you improve that game. And another good thing is if you need an instructor to help you, we have some PGA instructors on site that can help you and get lessons from too. So it's really a way to hone in on your game, but you also with your buddies or your friends or your girlfriend, your wife, and your husband, you're wanting to do something on a Thursday night and you can't get out for 4 hours. You go play 9 holes in an hour and a half, right? And be able to get out to dinner or go take that walk on the beach there in the summer where you didn't have to have that big chunk of time to do all those fun things.
That's a great point because there's so many golfers are in the Chicagoland area, so they do have to go out to the suburbs to play primarily. But if you're working with a professional at 5-iron, you could kind of keep everything going and you could work on your game. You can do the improvement component of it and the practice, which is so important, right there, right at the facility.
Yeah, 100%. And even, you can, with Trackman, so great also that, if your other facility has it, you can save that information, send that note to your instructor and be like, hey, what do you think of this? Or show that video. So even if you're not there practicing, you still get that connection because that technology does it for you. And you still connect and still can kind of practice and work on your game with our instructors.
Mm-hmm. That's fantastic. Now, I also noticed too, is that in addition to the golf component, you also have like events. So if somebody wanted to have a party or a get together, they could do that at 5-iron as well.
We're a wonderful place for events. It's an exciting experience. Anything from birthday parties to bachelor parties to full-blown corporate events. We hosted a grand opening party with 200 people there on Monday night. It's a fun place for great food, live, music, entertainment, and a great way for doing things. It's just not about the golf factor of it. There's other entertainment things into it. Trackman has some great games that people can play so everyone get into it. You can play close to the pin. You don't have to play 18 holes. You can have putt-putt, a mini putt-putt on the simulator. You can do all these fun things that bring not only to the serious golfer, but the families and the date nights and the companies together, right? Team bonding is so huge in that corporate world that this is a great way for them to get out there, take some swings, have a drink, have some lunch, and really enjoy that corporate experience.
I think I read a report this morning actually from Pellucid. They were talking about the industry itself and the amount of it was 10 to 12 million new golfers that have come on in say the past 4 or 5 years. And most of those are like you were talking about, kind of the people who they just learn the game, right? They just get exposed to it. A lot of times it's whether it's a simulator, whether it's through Top Golf. Have you seen that growth? And is that something that 5-iron's trying to cultivate, like new people who maybe don't play golf?
100%. That's that experience that we really want to focus on that golf experience, right? That performance side of things. But when it comes down to it, we're seeing that social aspect of things. It's an activity. It's a place to go. I want to start playing golf because my corporate has a shotgun tournament every year that I never get to play in. Uh, my girlfriend, my boyfriend's doing this now, and I want to get involved. It's such a great world to see these beginning golfers that like never picked up a club. I mean, I've been there. I've showed them how to hold a club and take some swings, and then watch them progress. And 2 or 3 years later, or a year later, they got a handicap. They're playing rounds of golf. That the community built. They're high fiving you because like I just broke 100 for the first time. So seeing that and that them get that bug of how great golf is and being out on that course is amazing. So it's a great experience for us to try to grow that, right, and be part of that, where we can, simulators golf is also great compared to a driving range. A lot of people it's a little intimidating, right? Like I'm standing next to three people that are hitting golf balls all day long down the range, and it's their perfect shots. Where it's a little intimidating. Where here we have little pods and little areas where you don't have to necessarily be next to someone, and you can really work on your game and feel like you're really trying to enjoy and the experience and trying to get better, right? And I think that's a huge component on what we're seeing and growing and doing in a lot of locations, not even just in Chicago.
That's such an important thing, like that intimidation factor. We hear that time and time again, right? They don't play. People are new to the game, and then we throw them out there on the first tee with all kinds of people running around, and there's pressure, and this is not an easy thing to pick up. So that's such a great environment.
Yeah, they hear that, oh, we don't want to, it's a 5 hour round, and I don't want to be the person in the group behind us yelling at us, right? Here it's you get 12 holes in an hour and a half and you feel good about it. That's great. If you need more time, we can give you more time. Or if you just done with 12 holes and you're happy with that, then you're done for the day. So it's definitely such a great way to be more relaxing and get them familiar with the game so they can go enjoy it outside.
I just heard a story recently. There's a UFC fighter and his wife. They're like huge golfers. I didn't know that. And the fighter was saying how they went to an event at a simulator place, and his wife started swinging the club, and she was like a natural. And so he and her got into it. Now they love playing. So there was almost kind of like that key that opened up the door and saying, hey, here's something I can do, and he can share it with his wife. But you need an opportunity to be able to do that. And that's the beauty of a simulator.
Yeah, 100%. That is the beauty of the simulator. That is just the vibe that we're looking for, right? It's be able to handle that. The first date that no one knows they're playing. Next thing you know, they're on the golf course and their love it, their career in golf and in the relationship is growing. And it's just a fun experience, great hobby to have for anyone.
So I'd like to finish up and kind of bring it back to you in your life, your career. So I think I read that you had a caddying background. Were you a caddy previously?
I grew up in the suburbs, and that was the thing to do there in the summer. That's where I kind of fell in love with golf. I used to caddy at Medina Country Club back in the day, and then I did a stint there, working there in the golf shop there 3 or 4 years ago before this. So it was very great. Coming from the green grass and moving indoors is a little different at first, but it's refreshing. It's great to see the same thing. So yeah, I caddied it out there in the suburbs there for a long portion of my life. Really enjoyed it, and it's such a great experience for young children to grow up and learn that too, because it gets you a different aspect of the game of golf.
So having that deep connection then with Medina, were you impacted when they did the overhaul and the redesign? Were you like, don't do this to my course, or did that not bother you?
Well, I can say that I probably walked that course a couple thousand times and played a few. But that was home, right? That was but I'm excited to go out and see it. I know they've got the big tournament coming out, the President's Cup coming in 2 years or a year and a half from now. So it'll be exciting to see it. Some of my friends that are members and people I still have connections with, they're really loving that, the upgrade. So it needed to be happening. It was something that, the membership wanted to do. Didn't affect me at all, besides a little bit of hurt, like, oh man, I remember that hole, or I did this or so. But with all good memories, it comes a good time and you can create new ones. So it's exciting. And that's the game of golf, right? I mean, before COVID, courses were closing and now we're seeing the love for golf again in simulators and green grass courses that are opening up again. So it's such a great community to have that and be able to see that, experience that.
So then, the follow up question too is this is an I wasn't going to ask this, but you're a good person to get the perspective on. One of the things that I think is the challenge with Chicagoland area, considering the marketplace, considering the Medina, and of course what they're doing to try to get to improve the course, but also to make it more palatable for major tournaments, is the fact that we're not going to have a stroke play tournament till possibly 2030 in the Chicagoland area. Like you said, we've got the President's Cup coming up, but the PGA Tour is non-existent, right? We have Live Golf coming here in a couple weeks, but what are your thoughts on that? What is it? Is it just a matter of that all of the event dates are so entrenched on the PGA Tour that we can't find a spot to have a weekly event, or not a weekly, but an annual event here in Chicago? Or, do you think it might be something else?
It's a good question. I think it's a little bit of everything, right? The BMW Championship was here, was a great fundraiser for the Evans Scholars Program, and they're expanding it in other cities because that program's growing, right? So we kind of lose that. I think they're going to rotate back every couple of years. You got Deerfield, which is a little, not Deerfield, but what is that? The John Deere, which is a little further away. I think the biggest problem is a lot of these courses it's very consuming for the courses to take up 3 months of their time, the prep work, the build out, right? It's just like you just can't close the course a week before and then
Right.
be like, PJ's coming. So I think that's the biggest thing. Medina is great because they have 3 courses. You've got Olympia's had the 2, right? So you've got plenty of places that could spare that. Outside of that, that's tough, right? Especially if you're a membership, or even if you're public, that's a lot of money that you have to bring in. So I think that's the biggest key is like, do clubs want to basically shut down for a little bit and not enjoy golf, because we also only have golf for 6 months, like we said, right? Now we can push that window to 8 months and 9 months for a lot of these golfers, but if you lose 3 months of your summer for golf, it's a tough loss for some clubs and courses.